about this, Ink Landry.
Aha! I have the Gent weapon pipe! I will destroy you all!
Landry, wait! Landry, wait! You're reading from the wrong cue cards! Huh, you see?
What? Landry sees. The end. Aw, man! There goes that caper!
On the table, Bendy is back. Bendy and the Ink Machine action figures Series 2 from PhatMojo. We have many characters from the final chapter 5. Tom and Allison Angel, a more classic version of Bendy, and oh, Sammy's back there as well. The Series 1 figures turned out to be very creepy, sometimes moving on their own. Oh my god, she's moving on her own. I still will not forget that. Let's take a look at this new group, see what we got. We'll start with Bendy, of course. The figure is titled as Bendy, but we probably should call it more like Vintage Bendy or Golden Age Bendy or something. Series 1 already gave us a Bendy. The first Bendy with a more black and white ink look, whereas this new vintage-like Bendy has more of a gameplay-like look, with the yellowed white face and gloves and bow tie. Primarily, they probably just made this figure as an easy repaint. On the back of the card, we see the collection of Series 1 on top, with Ink Bendy, Boris the Wolf, Bendy, and Alice Angel, and Series 2 now features Sammy, Tom, Bendy again, and Alison Angel. Free game download still available. Collect them all. And now let's open up, see how he compares to the first version of Bendy, probably pretty close to the same thing. Hey Ink Landry, I think you got yourself all spun around.
Boy, do I!
And vintage old school Bendy outside of the pack. This one's suffering from some very loose legs. Articulation on these guys pretty much the same. Notice how the legs kind of have that little gap in there. That kind of maybe creates a little bit of looseness to it, unfortunately. The first Bendy was much stronger. We have articulation in the arms. I think there's some wrists by the gloves. And full head 360 rotation. Fun looking figure. I like the sculpt. I just wish this guy's legs were a little tighter. I'm to figure something out. He wants to just keep leaning forward, and then if I lean him back too far, he's gonna fall back. Maybe if I put his gloves out for balance. There we go. Now he's standing up straight. My original Bendy was much stronger in the legs, so it might just depend on what you're gonna get in your pack. This vintage Bendy also comes with a little inkwell accessory. I think that's what we saw with the original Bendy too, just repainted accessories and a little Bendy figurine. So pretty much the same thing you saw with Series 1. Maybe if you have not picked up a Bendy yet, this gives you a chance to choose, as I've noticed several Series 1 figures are still filling up the shelves as Series 2 filters out. Well, let's move on to another incarnation of Boris the Wolf with Tom. If you follow Bendy and the Ink Machine, there are several different variations of Boris the Wolf. This Boris referred to as Tom Connors implied. Tom Connors being the Ink Machine repairman and married to Allison Angel. It's really easy to get all this stuff confused quickly. Let's open up and we can compare to a regular Boris the Wolf. And Tom outside of the package, standing a little bit better than Bendy did so far. That's a good thing. He's holding on to the Gent Pipe weapon axe thing that the player holds onto in the game. Used a little bit in Chapter 5 as a weapon. You can see this Boris the Wolf Tom with a more lowbrow look, a little angrier, with a mechanical arm left over from the mechanical character prototypes, and a torso belt holding that thing on. And bringing in a regular Boris the Wolf character, surprisingly a lot larger than this new Tom figure, and looking to have more articulation with knee articulation and elbow articulation. The new Tom figure looking only to have articulation in the head, shoulders, and hips, it looks like. Let's test that out real quick. Yeah, there's head, arms. Oh, there's some articulation in those wrists. And legs. Oh, we've got a number on the bottom of that foot. So a little bit less than before, that's kind of a bummer. But given the fact that how some of these figures are so loose, might be a better thing. Kind of fun to see the differences of these two characters together. It's also fun to see a classic animation style made up into action figures. Alright, let's move on to Tom's counterpart, Allison Angel. Allison Angel, more likely known as Real Alice or Heroic Version Alice, not looking to tear off arms and limbs from other animated characters to fix oneself. This Allison Angel prominently featured in Chapter 5. She kinda reminded me of an inked out Lara Croft. Anyway, let's open up. And outside of the pack with Allison Angel, definitely not a good standing figure. I had to stand her on some of the Squirrel Stampede Sticky Blue Machine putty to get her to stand. The Sticky Blue Machine putty being its own horror show. So Allison, the heroic version of Alice Angel, the figure looking a little less articulated than the original Alice Angel toy, but in this situation I don't mind because I don't think she's going to move on her own like she did before. Oh my god, she's moving on her own. Let's just stop showing that. This figure might be the most detailed figure of the group so far. With her and Tom, there seems to be a little more paintwork than the other figures. Now not just black and white, we have a little bit of gray going on with her torso apron vest thingy. Articulation, probably head rotation, and with that hair being a ponytail, you can actually move her hair around fairly easily. And shoulders, good straight arms. Is that a torso rotation there, or is that just because of her dress piece? Nope, she doesn't turn at her waist. And articulation there with her legs, kind of inhibited by her skirt. And again, standing her, I had a tough time. Oh, whoa, whoa, there we go. It almost felt like one of her feet were just a little taller than the other. Maybe if I sand it down or something, I can get her to stand better. She's holding on to a sword, which she ran through the evil Alice Angel, who is getting harder and harder to stand, by the way. Again, these Series 1 figures, just a little bit bigger, more articulation, and they're all very tippy. If you don't mind Squirrel Machine Sticky Putty, you can get her to stand okay. I think I like this version of Alice better, less haunting.
Oh my god, she's moving on her own.
And the final figure of Series 2, the grumpy music director Sammy, with Bendy mask. And it looks like a nice Bendy cutout too. Let's open. And Sammy outside of pack, this may be the first figure I've ever seen where the pants feel like they're on backwards. This is a really nice articulated figure though, more on the lines of Series 1. Looking at Sammy's head a little closer, he's wearing a Bendy mask, but the mask is non-removable. It does look like it's stuck on tight. Which is a bummer as it does get removed in Chapter 5. Good articulation though on the figure. Full shoulder movement out and around, and we've got a broken hand. We've got elbow joints. Luckily these hands pop back in. And we've got no waist, but there is hip and knee, and they're both very solid, and a nice thick footprint, so at least we've got one figure we do not have to worry too much about standing up. Sammy comes with an axe, which is a nice accessory weapon. I think this is our first axe in this series, and you see the axe quite a bit in the game, so that's good to have. And we've got a Bendy cutout, which is actually a shield that he can hold on to, which is kind of a bummer. I would have rather had a cutout to stand of Bendy, which makes me think how cool it would have been if every figure always had a little two-dimensional cutout of Bendy. And it would have been cool had the cutout been a little more yellowed. Really, all of the figures should have been yellowed. And there we have it, the Series 2 Bendy and the Ink Machine collection. A fun bunch of figures. I think my favorite is Tom. I like any version of Boris the Wolf. And of course Bendy in yellow is pretty neat to see too. Interesting, I wonder where PhatMojo will go with the rest of this series. If we'll see a Series 3, there's still a few things we'd like to see. It would be fun to see a larger Ink Bendy demon monster from the final chapter, and a few other characters to see too. For now, there's these guys to hunt for. Keep an eye out before Ink Squirrel jump scares you.
Jump scare? I don't do things like...
Bendy and the Ink Machine Series 2 action figures from PhatMojo arrive on store shelves December 2018. They run approximately $12.99 per figure. I found this group over at Walmart. You may or may not have to dig through lots of Series 1 figures. If you're looking to add to your collection of creepy bendy toys, Series 2 is out there for you. Enjoy unless you like pencils and lead and graphite. That game would be from Letty and the Lead Machine, found over in the department section of a store that was probably closed down. That's what I have to say about that.
Some would say squirrel poisoning worse than lead poisoning. Thanks for watching Squirrel Stampede. Please like, share, subscribe.